Welcome to the Better Road Podcast, where we pave the way to better living and discover the roads less traveled.
Here we go, walking the line, walking the line.
What's up, bud?
Hey, how are you? We did it.
We did it, man. What a week.
Man, oh man.
I think we need to do a cheers.
Cheers.
Thank
The
you.
22 Napa Valley Cabernet. Cheers
Just
to you,
bottled.
brother.
We just bottled
We
this.
just did it.
Everybody, I'm introducing here the well-renowned winemaker, Jason Welch. This guy is behind our quickly growing Bedford and Glenville brands, and he has been killing it year over year, keeping the quality high. And I feel like I say this every year, but this might be some of our highest quality wines yet. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited for everyone to try them.
Thank you, Stefan. It's so good that you're out here, and we had a great week. We had a hard week, but the wines are beautiful. This 22 vintage is just absolutely outstanding, and I think that these are probably a group of the strongest wines we brought to market so far.
Yeah, I'm excited. And like you said, a tough week. It all turned out okay. Do you want to talk about it a little bit? I mean, this bottling was insane.
I don't know. I might get flashbacks or something. I'm trying to put it behind me already. But bottling is you ask any winemaker what's their least favorite process in the winemaking thing to do in the winemaking process, and bottling will always be at the top of the list. It's just so intricate, and there's so many factors, and there's so many things, and different trucks do different things, and I couldn't have done it without you. Honestly, thank you, because you must have driven 5,000 miles going around getting all of the goods that we need. And at least I was able to stay at the winery and just, take care of the wine.
That goes both ways. I couldn't do it without you. And yeah, you're right. I mean, everything. So when it comes to bottling, you got to get the corks together, the capsules together, the labels. You got to make sure the label fits on the bottle right. And if you're bottling multiple wines, it gets super complicated because you got different labels, you got switchovers, and it seems like, at least on the first day, everything went wrong. The capsules weren't the right size, this and that. So I'm just glad that we're on the other end of it, and we did a great job.
We did the ultimate grind.
Yeah.
We just kept positive and kept working at it. The bottling line, this was a new line for us. This is sort of we were forced to go with our second choice. It was a great line, but it just takes a little acclimation to get. But by the time we got to the second and third day, and today was a breeze. We were rolling.
Right. So you mentioned bottling is the worst part of winemaking. Can you tell me what's your favorite?
My favorite every year is a tradition, is popping the champagne right at the beginning of harvest when the first fruit comes in, and having a toast with your crew and wishing everybody good luck and safe harvest. And that's generally my favorite, when we dump that first load of fruit into the press, which typically is it, because we're getting white Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay in, and then certainly if it's red, that first time we dump into the crusher distemmer.
Awesome. So let's talk about harvest. 24 seasons coming to an end, and harvest is right around the corner. What are you looking forward to? Can you talk about the season and what you're expecting for this harvest?
Absolutely. Last 2 years, grace of God, we've had incredible winters here in the West Coast, California predominantly, and the groundwater source has been fantastic. So the vines did not have to struggle much this year. They had everything that they need nutrient-wise. Obviously, we monitor the amount of water because we do want them to work. But early predictions look like it's going to be a fantastic harvest. Still a little early to tell on size, but we think it's going to be a good solid average, which is actually a good thing. We could use just a couple of good solid averages right now, but quality looks fantastic, and the weather's shaping up to be great.
Awesome. So yeah, there is a bit of an oversupply, so kind of good average would be nice. What are you planning for this harvest? Like, what are you bringing into the winery? Let's talk about what's going on.
Absolutely. So we're going to start. I just got a text message from a client that the Brix readings are were a little prematurely high on some Sauvignon Blanc from Lake County that we're bringing in. Thank
Okay.
God, because I need time to clean up from the bottling and to get the equipment over and just get everything sanitized and ready to go. I mean, we can be ready in about 3 days, but
Hmm.
looks like maybe harvest is going to start the week after next.
Okay.
And so we'll bring some Sauvignon Blanc in. I've got some local Napa Valley Sauvignon Blanc, about 30 tons projected to come in too. So we'll start there and then roll through Labor Day, and then I'll have my first bit of Russian River Pinot coming in from one of the small guys, and then it'll be pretty much normal. Maybe not really getting busy towards the end of September.
For anyone who doesn't know what bricks are, can you explain that?
Sure. Brix is the measurement of sugar that's present in the grape, glucose, fructose, and that is when that grape is picked, we target numbers based on the varietal, based on the style. Maybe you want a little higher alcohol, you need a little more sugar. And what that sugar does is then that's converted into alcohol when the juice or the fruit is being fermented. And so Brix is a measurement that we have in on scale where we can give a guess at a potential alcohol finished in the wine.
Nice. Now, this is your 28th year of harvest, right?
I'm getting old.
Hey, great experience. Can we talk a little bit about your past experience, what it took to become a winemaker?
Sure. I grew up being, in the Bay Area in California, and I being exposed to wine early on. My uncle was an avid collector. My mother was the first female sales rep for Behringer Vineyards back in the 70s, which was quite a feather in her cap. She started as the assistant to the president
It's pretty
and
cool.
quickly got into sales. So pretty awesome. I like to brag on her about that. But I used to spend a lot of time as a kid in the summers with her up in St. Helena, where Behringer Vineyards is located. And I used to get the ability. I think this was pre-OSHA. I used to be able to walk around in the cellar and the caves and all of that. And I remember the sounds and the smells and the things I heard and could see. And barrels always fascinated me, and to see the equipment working, especially the presses. And so I just sort of had this, I think, this affinity for it at an early age in my life that I didn't realize at the time. Got into other things, business, little commercial real estate, some other things. Lived New York for a bit, Dallas, and but I came back to my roots in 2000,
2000.
and I came back and decided I was working in a little wine shop at night for a couple nights a week just for tasting and to supplement my income because I was in commercial real estate and it was during a downturn and I was starving. So to pay the bills, but I met a young winemaker from Australia that I became friends with, and we started emailing, and I started asking him questions about what would it take to get into the business, and he laid it out very plainly for me and said, "These are the steps I think you should take." So I called my mom, who was living down in Carmel Valley, which is a very nice wine region in the Central Coast, inland from Monterey, and I said I'd like to come home and be a winemaker.
Mhm.
Came home and went to work in a tasting room where I met my best friend and mentor in the business, Rich Tangway, who was the almost 20-year winemaker for Heller Estate, famous property in Carmel Valley.
In Carmel, okay.
Yeah, and they were actually
This is Central
this is
Coast, right?
Central Coast, yeah,
Okay.
and they were started originally by a family called the Durney family that were the very first vineyard winery and growers in that region, and they
Hmm.
really developed beautiful Cabernets out there. So I went to work for him, started working in the cellar, and then just worked my way up the chain. Found more responsibility, more jobs. Worked for Julian Vineyards for Ridge Watson for a year, and then moved up to the North Coast region, Napa, Sonoma counties, and worked my way up through the chain. Had every job in production. So from just cellar assistant, then went to work for a gentleman who was another mentor, Michael Scholes, in Cloverdale as his cellar master at Wattle Creek. Michael's the longtime winemaker for St. Superi.
Hmm.
And then just continued. Then my big break was taking over the assistant winemaker position at Lewis Cellars.
Lewis Sellers,
Yeah,
one of my
Lewis.
favorites.
Yeah,
Really, like
big hitter.
Insane,
Yeah.
insane bottle of wine.
Yeah, and in fact, we achieved while I was there, we started a Sauvignon Blanc program, but it was always Randy and Debbie, and Debbie passed away a few years ago. God rest her soul. But they had achieved #1 wine in the world through Wine Spectator,
Yeah,
which was amazing.
that's while you were there, right?
Yeah, I was right as I left, but that was the vintage that we made when I was there. And
Okay,
we
yeah,
started their
yeah,
Sauvignon Blanc program, but obviously people that know Lewis, they're big reds and
yeah,
beautiful Chardonnays too.
yeah.
Then just worked my way up into my first head winemaking position up in the North Coast in Mendocino, and took over winemaking for Shannon Ridge and Lake County. So I've worked in all the counties, and currently have been at my current position for 7 years now.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes you so great is that you've been in so many different areas and seen so many different grapes, grown in different areas, really adds to your whole like whole resume, so to say.
I agree with you. I think I've got a kind of a jack of all trades training in this business and learning everything from the ground up. I'm even got thousands of hours on a forklift as a train the trainer.
Yeah.
So it's good because I think it's the best way. If you're on the production side to learn the business, there are a lot of places where you get just all you make is Cabernet or all you make is Chardonnay, and that's fine. But I think it's nice to be able to work with all the different varietals so you get a true understanding of terroir and grape type and how they respond in the winery and what you're looking to achieve. And it's made for an interesting career. It's actually, I think it's given me the energy to keep going.
What's your favorite grape varietal?
My favorite grape varietal, so white, hands down, has got to be Sauvignon Blanc. I'm a big aromatic white fan, but we grow incredible Sauvignon Blanc out here in Pope Valley, Napa Valley, and I like that little bit of that more melon and white peach and stone fruit style. But then, I'm kind of crazy for some great Italian whites too. And then
Hmm.
if I had one thing to drink, it would probably be champagne.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you on
It's
that.
just
Yeah,
it's perfect in my opinion.
yeah,
But I'm certainly red wise. Love our Napa Valley cabs. I've always been a huge fan of our Moon Mountain and
yeah,
our Alexander
yeah, it's
Valleys. Those are
killer.
elegant wines.
Oh my God.
And that Moon Mountain is just like you feel like you've opened up a dark chocolate bar.
Yeah, it's so full and rich. It's beautiful. I'm really excited with releasing this one that we just bottled.
Absolutely. But I'd say I drink more white wine than red wine. But you know what? That's the direction most winemakers go when they get older.
Yeah,
They tend to gravitate towards lighter whites because you can pair them and they're just they're not as over the top. But I mean, I'm a sucker for a great Napa Cab.
yeah. And the reds might give you a little more of a headache and feel
You
it the next day
you
a
get
little
to a
bit.
certain place, if you have too much fun, you feel like a train hits you. But that's that's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's with anything if you drink too much. But
Absolutely.
how about appellation wise? Do you have like favorite appellations, favorite vineyard sites around the California?
Well, I'm certainly partial to where I live and work, and we have such a stake in our business with
Hmm.
Privatus and Napa Valley. I think Napa Valley it makes the best wines in the world.
Hmm.
Of course, Sonoma County, we do beautiful Russian River Pinot Noir, and I think that's the best place for Pinot Noir.
Hmm.
But I've always my little hidden secret has always been Alexander Valley.
Okay.
Alexander Valley, I think, just has absolutely completely underrated over deliver, silky tannins,
Yeah, yeah.
great structure, easy to drink, and I think that I don't think Alexander Valley quite gets its due.
Mm. Okay. Can you put the mic a little? So any particular grapes? Because we make two. We make Alexander Cab and Alexander Petit Syrah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Petit Syrah is just like no one really knows what it is, but that's like the big sleeper.
So we call Petit Syrah winemaker's gold.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's called because it's such a great blender. In fact, we had I believe it was 5% that we put into our Cabernet, and that is a classic blend. Is a little bit of Petit Syrah, which adds that dark fruit,
Hmm.
that richness, that mocha, that kind of dark chocolate, and gives you a little bit of tannin and structure, and helps with color. It's just wonderful. The thing about Petit Syrah that's sort of gotten a bad rap is that people for years didn't know how to make it. It's a tannic variety. It's a
Hmm.
dark variety. It's got a beautiful blender, but it's a wonderful standalone wine if you
Hmm.
ferment it correctly. But if you over pump it over too much, you keep it in the
Hmm.
fermenter too long, it
Hmm.
builds up these tannins. And they used to say that Petit Syrah was good 5 years after it was bottled,
Hmm.
so it needed time to calm down. So I think it's a wine wine that is kind of misunderstood. I don't think it's been pushed correctly because a lot of Petit Syrah hasn't been made correctly. So
Mhm.
it might always be a hand sell item, but we love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for anybody watching and might not know what a pump over is, it's when you put the wine in the tank and bring it around, and you got to kind of switch it up. And tannins are the skins of the grape, and Petit Syrah grapes are really thick when it comes to the skins, and that's what gives it all its character. So that's really interesting. I didn't know that pumping it over too much might actually.
Well, you would know because you were a star seller rat.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well,
I was doing punch downs
punch
on Petit
downs,
Syrah.
yeah, and pump overs, and you know it. But
Yeah,
this guy's got the skills, so
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
so
gonna have to put a video up on the screen so people can see what that looks like.
yeah.
But anyway, I just have to say from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate you having us over here at your beautiful home on this beautiful property. It is quite aesthetic, to say the least. And I wish the video quality is a little better, but we'll do a little tour on my camera to show you guys what it looks like. Can you tell us a little bit more about the property?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much. And, your family, your whole family is my family. So I love having you guys here. Um, yeah, the property was originally bought by a gentleman back in the late 70s, early 80s. It's 160 acres total. We've got 60 currently planted. All of the fruit here we sell to wineries over the hill, third parties. Duckhorn bought all of our Sauvignon Blanc for years.
Huh?
We have about 25 acres of Sauvignon Blanc planted with more planned to be planted, another 5 acres coming hopefully next year.
Nice.
The rest is all Cabernet, a little small block of Sangiovese that
Yeah.
Angela Mondavi
Yes,
has
yeah.
been buying. We were talking about her the other day,
Yeah.
and then she came out to the ranch with her dogs to check on the Sangiovese. She makes it into a beautiful rosé for her Brasswood project, and she's been buying that now for over 6 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really cool.
So again, 160 acres here. We have the old Pope Valley Airport here, so we have a 4,000-foot runway that the owner of the property is sort of the jewel of his eye, and he's got plans to refinish that eventually, and hopefully be able to come in and land his plane.
Very cool that there's an airport.
Yeah, it's very cool. And a little side caveat to that, it was the home of the U.S. Parachute team for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, back in the 80s and the 90s. And
Wow.
so that was kind of a cool little deal. But there's only 3 municipal airports in Napa, and probably that'll never change. So we're one of the 3, and we're still open.
There's a
Um,
massive cave too.
Massive cave. So we've got a 6,000 square foot cave at the winery. The winery is rated at 1,200 tons through the county right now, permitted, but we have a grandfathered allotment to go up to 2,400 tons, and there's plans to expand. But we have a beautiful 6,000 square foot cave, which we've spent quite a bit of time in,
Yeah.
and it's where we store our wines. And we're lucky to have that, especially being an outdoor winery out here, and it gets quite warm in the summertime. The cave is the best place to be. It stays 58 degrees, 57 degrees year round, about 70% relative humidity. And then beautiful house on the property, which I live in, and with my crazy dog who's sleeping at my feet here with a wine bung in her mouth, and Ruby.
Ruby,
And, yeah, there she is, wagging her tail. Yeah, but
come get in here real quick.
there she is.
Beautiful.
But yeah, got to have a winery dog.
Yeah.
But it's a tremendous property with a lot of history.
Yeah.
And it's Pope Valley is really a unique area, and it's just on the backside of Howell Mountain. And I think personally, best Sauvignon Blanc grown in the state of California.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people are talking about it actually. I was just out last night and someone was mentioning the Sauvignon Blanc from Pope Valley and how they source their Sauvignon Blanc from there. So, yeah, must be popular.
No, it is. It's got it's just got this incredible melon and stone fruit and richness. It's a warmer climate Sauvignon Blanc, so it lends itself to be a little more fleshy. Incredible aromatics, and picked at the right time to kind of preserve the acidity too. It's just a really, really pretty wine.
Yeah, and a couple other things I still haven't had a chance to check out yet, but maybe you'll get to show me before the end of the day. There's a beehive, right? You make
Oh,
honey out here?
yeah, we do. We've got 80 hives out here, 80 hives in the boxes. I'm sure you guys have all seen them. So we have a partnership with a beekeeper. He takes the bees a couple times a year and goes and makes quite a good living pollinating almond and walnut orchards. And I mean, we think about it. If we didn't have bees in this world, we'd be done for. I mean, it's like trillions of dollars of free labor,
Yeah.
essentially. The byproduct of that is that they live at the ranch that most of the year, and we also grow hay out here locally for cattle and horses that we sell off, and they eat. We plant a particular variety. It's red barley, and they come through and they eat it. And the honey is second to none. It comes out almost like molasses and caramel.
Yeah.
I know that
One of God's
you've had
gifts.
it's phenomenal. So as a partnership with the beekeeper, he gives us honey. We give him space to let the bees live and be happy, and we have a good partnership. We actually have plans.
We got to put a label on that.
We're
honey.
going to start selling my.
Yeah.
I want to start selling it at the local farmers market.
Hey, I'll start selling in New York.
Perfect.
Trust me, I'm down to sell anything.
Okay, deal. Come up with a label.
I got some good places actually. There's an organic market right by me. I
Okay.
always buy their honey. I'll get it in there, no problem.
I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll supply it to you.
Awesome.
Trying to get the guy to start bringing it to us in 1 pound sizes. I think that would be good because they got that big 2-pounder.
Yeah,
which
those
is
are
great.
big. Those
They
are
are big. So I
yeah.
think half that size
Yeah.
would be ideal.
Yeah.
So okay, let's make it happen.
Awesome. I love it. All right.
Whiskey
well,
River Bees.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
name. That's a catchy name. All right. Well, I have to ask this question because I ask everybody this question. This is the Better Road podcast. What's one thing that makes your life better or improves the quality of your life?
Family, of course, wonderful friends, and great wine.
That's a great answer. Next question. If anybody's looking to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Best way is to text me. So or email
Just
me.
hit me up and I'll share his info.
Just talk to this guy and he'll know how to get a hold of me. But I'm a big text guy.
Okay. Awesome.
Or send me a message on Instagram.
Cool. Okay. We'll plug that in there. I'm surprised that you even use Instagram. That's new.
You know what? You gave it to me as a challenge last time we saw each other.
That's new. Okay. Awesome. And last thing before we go, if there's anyone that you may know or suggest would like to be on this podcast, who might that be?
I think would be great to get Barbara, our office manager's son, who is a gourmet chef.
Oh yeah.
Who is a cordon bleu trained.
Okay.
And actually went to the CIA in upstate in it's Hyde Park.
Uh-huh.
And that's where he graduated from and has his own local catering company called Gray's. Jamie Lloyd, he is a phenomenal guy.
Yeah. I met Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie, I'd love to have you on here. Thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos and peace.
Cheers.